confirmation and communism. No, communism. Cut the cameras.
So I'm like, am I a Disney adult? Sure. Fine. I'll say it. I guess I'm a Disney adult.
I would get so scared of it because I'd be like, oh no, the devil's trying to take over my body. Yes. How do we feel about it? Me? How do we feel about it? Me, let me talk.
If there's one movie franchise that I will never ever touch in my entire life, it's the Conjuring movies.
They're the best. Like, I swear to you, they're not even scary. What's up, spooky spammers? It's your host, Crystal and Nyla. Welcome to our Halloween special. Woo! We're going to be talking about a bunch of fun Halloween-related topics. Me and Nyla are very excited. As you can see, I tried to decorate back here. Nyla had a really cool setup since last week, but I had to try to match her.
Let's give Crystal a round of applause.
I ran to the Dollar Tree yesterday and I just picked up a little witch, which I think she's cute. I got a little ghost. And then this 5 feet little, what are these called? Christmas lights?
I called them Christmas lights.
Christmas lights, even though they're Halloween lights. But I bought those. It said 5 feet. I have no perception of measurement at all. So for me, I thought 5 feet was like my size. But clearly.
Is it not?
That's what I would think.
5 feet should be you got to rip off.
Yeah, I think so. Dollar Tree, don't sponsor us.
Yeah, we're coming for you now.
But I tried. Also, we tried to do a little bit of a Halloween look. Let's not look too closely at mine, please. I tried to do little ghosts here that
it looks like the ghosts are coming out of the mic. It's actually really good.
Ooh, yeah. I was trying to recreate an old look that I did, which I got from like Pinterest or something. We can insert a picture here because it looks better there than it does here.
It looks great still.
Thank you, Nyla. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about
my look today?
Yes.
I texted Crystal. We were talking about this episode, and I said I have a costume. It's basic. And Crystal said cat ears, and I was like, no. And so I have devil horns, but I'm not that basic because it's for my boy Daredevil. Okay, I love Daredevil. I'm a stan, and so the horns are for him. Nothing else.
Makes sense. Also, I got a cool cup.
That's so cool. The hand and everything. Oh my God, Crystal.
Dollar Tree. First, I'm like, Dollar Tree, don't sponsor us. And I'm like, Dollar Tree,
hit us up.
But yeah, I got that so that when the tea gets hot, I can take a sip.
I have my bottle, which reminded me.
Drink up. Make sure you guys stay hydrated.
Yes, go right now. Drink your water.
Drink your water. We can all drink it together.
And if you're listening on Spotify, make sure you check out our YouTube channel so you could see all the decorations and all the fun looks.
Yes. I always forget that people on Spotify can't see us. But yeah, check us out on YouTube. We're going to go ahead and just jump right in because I feel like we have a lot to talk about. I have a lot of questions for you. So let's go ahead and start off with something that is currently on everybody's mind, and that is Hocus Pocus 2 specifically, but we can talk about the first one as well because, I mean, it's the best.
The Sanderson sisters are back.
Yes. How do we feel about it? Me? How do we feel about it? Me, let me talk. I guess I'll just start.
Yeah, go ahead.
Since I already started blurting it out, but I really like it. I wouldn't consider myself like a Disney adult. Like, I don't know too much about all of the Disney stuff. I just watch it to watch it, like for entertainment. So I understand where there are some of like the diehard Disney fans and they wanted like Hocus Pocus to be a certain way. But I liked it. I thought it was really good. Could it have been better? Yes, I'm sure. But I watched it and I enjoy it. And I also loved the POC representation because that was awesome. Loved seeing that. How did you feel about it, Nayla? Whoa, that sounded weird. Hashtag bilingual props. It's like how many times throughout the podcast can Crystal mess up words?
That's okay. I mess up words. I mean, I am bilingual, but I mess up words anyway. Um, how I felt. Okay, I'm not. This is so hard for me because I do not consider myself a Disney adult.
Hmm.
But that's because I am a Star Wars fan and I
Mm.
am like there's a lightsaber right there. I'm a Star Wars fan, I'm a Marvel fan, and they have been acquired by Disney, and so technically that does make me a Disney fan.
Hmm.
So I'm like, am I a Disney adult? Sure. Fine. I'll say it. I guess I'm a Disney adult. We're
Power
here.
to you.
Um, but again, not in the sense of like I don't obsess over any of the cartoon characters or any of the I watch them all for entertainment. So with
Hmm.
Hocus Pocus 2, I enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. My criticisms come from my love-hate relationship with Disney. I told Crystal this. I feel like they are just trying to set up a new movie, a Hocus Pocus 3, with these new three little witches. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like they're setting up a new one. And my other gripe, and I didn't think about this until recently, the coloring of the movie was really dull for a
Mm.
kids like Disney movie.
Hmm.
I wish it was like a little bit more bright and like colorful or like, just a little bit. It felt very dull.
Yeah. I feel like that's how a lot of shows have been recently. I have a love-hate relationship with it because I do kind of like when they do the whole like dim lighting because it does give it a spooky vibe. Um and it just adds to like the whole like dark feel to it, but I feel like sometimes they kind of overdo it. I love Stranger Things, but I swear it was so dark. Like if I watched it in straight sunlight, I couldn't even see what was on the screen.
You watched it on your phone, to be fair?
I actually watched it on several ones.
Okay.
And well, I was watching it when I was at an Airbnb. So they already had like the TV set up in the living room and they had a lot of windows. So it was kind of hard to
The lighting
avoid.
was a lot.
Yeah. And so maybe it's just because of where I watched it. I'm pretty sure if I watched it back at home, it would have been like cool. But I feel like they could have added a little bit more light.
Hmm. I just for certain scenes, like I understand in the forest, it doesn't obviously have to be that bright. But like when
Hmm.
they were in the Walgreens, I was like, why do their outfits look so dull? Like I wish it was just a little bit more colored.
Oh, right. The Walgreens scene. That's so true. I actually didn't think too much about it, but that's usually something like if you go to regular Walgreens, it's not that dark. So it's like
It's
make it
not
make
that
sense.
muted. Like there's colors.
Yeah.
I did want to say the little versions of them. Those girls acted there. Like Little Winnie,
Yes.
cast her and everything. I want to see her so much now because she
Right?
was so good. Like I was like, I feel like I'm watching a theater performance.
Yeah, she did so good. I was mesmerized by her like when I was watching the movie. I was like, "Oh my god, I kind of didn't want that to end." Like I wanted the little girls to like have more screen time. And I swear they all did so good. Like the I don't know their names, but the one that played Winifred, right? She was like doing the little like mouth thing or the finger thing, and then the other one, I don't know their names, but the one with the black
Sarah,
hair, not Sarah, the one with the black hair.
Sarah, Winnie.
We don't know her name. Let's Google that for us there so we don't look
How am I
stupid.
forgetting the last one? Like this, I feel.
I'm pretty sure it's gonna be something similar. Oh
You know what?
no.
I take back what I said. I'm not a Disney adult because I don't remember their names. Mary,
Mary.
Winifred,
Okay.
Sarah,
Mary and
and
Sarah.
Mary. Yeah.
Yeah. I like how she did the whole like twisted mouth thing. The girl who played Sarah was kind of like it's did see the word for it? Like uh
I would consider her to be ditzy.
so she I don't know, they did so good. Like
Hmm.
major props to them. They were awesome. I think they couldn't have casted a better person for any
Oh
of
yeah,
those girls.
they did really well on cast. I think the casting in this movie, through and throughout, was really good.
Yeah.
Like every single character. I don't. Did you watch Teen Wolf?
I watched a couple of seasons of it, but then I kind of stopped after a little bit.
Okay, so there's this one. Okay, the guy who played the boyfriend,
Uh-huh.
he was in Teen Wolf, and
He
every time,
was?
yeah, later in the very end. Like literally, I think in the last
Oh,
season, that just made me think of that. The boyfriend, the casting was amazing.
yeah. I will say, I mean, not to like bash on anyone, but I did think that the boyfriend and the one who plays his girlfriend, like the third friend, were kind of a random storyline. They were there to connect the two girls to the dad because they were after the dad since he looked like the priest.
Hmm.
But it
He
just
was a
kind of,
descendant of the priest.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it did just kind of, it didn't make sense to me. Like it was really random.
And it was the same actor, Tony Hale. He was in Arrested Development and Veep.
Oh,
I
I
love
don't
him.
know.
Yeah,
I'm really bad with names. First of all, like
that's
I'm pretty sure
amazing.
I've probably seen him before. I
I'm a
gotta
big
see if
fan.
I gotta see if I know him from anything because he looked very familiar. Oh, do you have him pulled up?
I have his Wikipedia pulled up.
Was he in Clifford the Big Red Dog?
He wasn't Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Okay, that's where I know him from then. I did go see that.
Nice. Out of everything that we could have named, Crystal said, I
Clifford.
know Clifford.
I'm a huge fan of Clifford. No, we went because my dad loves Clifford, so we went to go see it in movie theaters for him.
My heart. He was also in Love, Simon.
Oh, was he? Was he the principal?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then that's where I know him from. He was pretty funny. I liked his like first scene that he did where he was like laughing. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah. I watched him in two shows that I really love, so I like him as an actor.
Yeah. But now my question is, do you prefer the first one still or the second one?
If you're gonna ask me like which one would I go back to,
Hmm.
the first one.
For sure. I agree. I feel
Yeah.
like the first one's just forever like you can't go wrong with it. Also, it's funny watching it back now because I remember I used to be scared of the witches and how dark everything was too. And so I think it was just kind of like a little scary thing because I used to be scared of Harry Potter as well.
Okay, I'm a Harry Potter stan, you know. And the Dementors, I used to close my eyes because I couldn't watch it. Like I genuinely could not watch it.
I can see that. I didn't watch that far of Harry Potter
Oh,
until
okay.
now. So
Hmm.
I feel like I would have been scared back then, but I only made it to the first movie and like the ogre scene where the wand goes up his nose. I had to click off. I was like, nope. I have
Oh,
really
not
weird
the
fears.
ogre scene. Not the ogre scene. Oh, it
Yeah.
was the spiders for me because I was so little and I have a fear
Mm,
of I don't like spiders. Spiders are a fear.
yeah, I also have a fear of like spiders, but a bunch of spiders, that's scary too. Like
Oh,
I don't
that's
know,
terrifying.
like just seeing a bunch of them like crawling out of something, that's a huge fear of mine. Like it doesn't even have to be spiders. Just a bunch of something scares me. I feel like I'm gonna be swallowed alive.
Yeah, I don't like a bunch of something. A bunch for some reason, a bunch of ants. Even though they're just ants,
Yeah.
if I see like a lot of them, I get scared.
Same, same. I wonder if there's like a term for that type of fear. Because like I know that there's trypophobia, but that's
I have
holes.
that.
Me too, me too.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there's a like a name for being like having a fear of a bunch of things because I've always had a fear of that. Like sometimes I would take a shower and I was scared there was gonna be like insects or bugs coming out of the shower. I
Oh, out
think
of the
that was
shower
in a
head?
movie. I think it was in a movie and that's why I like got scared.
That would make sense. Mine is if coming out of the drain. Yeah, that's my fear. I'm so scared that something's gonna like come out, like specifically a lot of bugs are gonna come out the drain. There
Yes,
must
it's
have
just
been a movie with
scary.
it.
Yeah, I'm sure that they won't hurt us, but it's just like the thought of it. It's just it also makes you feel so like yucky, like if that
Mhm.
was to happen.
It's kind of gross.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but speaking of fears that come from movies,
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about some classic Halloween movies, you know, outside of Hocus Pocus, other Disney movies. Just tell me, Crystal, what are your favorite
Well,
Halloween movies or genres?
I love. We're talking about Disney. I love all of the Disney Halloween movies. I grew up in that era where like those movies were literally still coming out. I don't know if like were you like into those
Oh yeah.
shows when you were okay.
Halloween Town, Twitches.
Yeah, those were just the best. Like I swear Disney does not make them like how they used to.
Oh, definitely no.
But and also like how dare they try to replace Marnie and act like we're not going to notice that there's a different Marnie.
I did not watch that one.
You didn't?
Nope.
It is good. I'm not gonna lie, but
because I couldn't.
you're like, no, they're not gonna betray me like that. But yeah, I loved all of their movies. I love Twitches,
Do you
Tia
remember?
Tamara.
Yeah. Do you in Twitches, there
Uh-huh.
was the scene where they were running away from like the shadow.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember that scene? That
Yes.
scene used to scare the
Yeah.
crap out of me.
Those movies were scary back then. Like even Halloween Town, like some of the costumes that they had were pretty scary.
Mhm.
Like the Caliber's Revenge scared me. That movie was terrifying. But like now rewatching them, it's like almost laughable because
Oh,
they're not
definitely.
scary.
Definitely. Yeah, Twitches scared me. I don't know why. I was so scared, but I loved it so much that I would want to sit there and get through it because I want to watch the movie, but I was just scared the
Yeah.
entire time.
Yeah. Also, one that really scared me was My Mom's Got a Date with the Vampire.
Yeah,
That one was terrifying.
that one was pretty scary. I was happy when I was a little bit older when this one came out, but My Babysitter's a Vampire.
I've never seen that one.
That one was so good. That
Wait,
one has to
actually I
be one of
have.
my favorites. Yeah, with Vanessa Morgan?
Yeah, she was in
Riverdale.
Riverdale. Yeah, I have seen it actually. But it's
Mhm.
been like so long. I haven't seen that movie again because I tend to stick to the ones that I really liked and that I think the ones that I grew up with because that one came out a little bit later when I was already
Yeah,
starting
I
to
grew
like
up with that
phase
one.
out. Yeah, so I think that's why I didn't remember that one, but I did watch it. Um, outside of Disney, I love scary movies, like anything ghost related. Huge fan. I always say my favorite romance movies are the Conjuring movies because I I literally they like they're just so good. I'm forgetting the names of the main characters. Let me look them up before I look stupid. Now you looking at me like that.
Because I
Uh,
hate if there's one movie franchise that I will never ever touch in my entire life, it's the Conjuring movies.
they're the best. Like I swear to you, they're not even scary. Okay,
I wore
Lorraine,
sunglasses when I went to watch the first one because I
you
thought by
couldn't see
making it darker I would be less scared.
it. Well, I
It
hope that
worked.
works for you.
It worked. But I the jump scares, I like could not. It's constant fear.
Really? Okay, so let's talk about this because okay,
Did you figure out the
I
names?
love, yes, so it's
Okay.
Lorraine and Ed Warren. Their romance in the movies just overpower everything for me. So
I
I
don't
love
even
it.
remember.
That's why I say that it's my favorite romance movies. If you've seen the Conjuring movies and you like them, then I'm sure you'll understand. But um, the movie that got me into it was Annabelle. That's the first movie I ever went to go watch, and then after that, like a couple years later, I didn't really like keep up with the Conjuring movies, but like 2 years ago, I think during COVID. When we we're all stuck at home, me and my sister Brenda, we sat down, we watched every single Conjuring franchise movie. They're the best. I don't get scared of them. In fact, that they're kind of just they're more of a romance movie for me. I watch it for Ed and Lorraine, even though they weren't actually like that in person. But I think it's a good storyline.
Right, because it's based on a
Yeah, they're based on a true
yeah, my
true
panic that's
story.
just settled in. It's based on a true story.
It's
It's
like
just
loosely though.
I know, but seeing that pop up on the screen like doesn't help. It
They're
doesn't
so
help.
good though. I've seen them a couple times. Like they're just good.
A
Like
couple?
yeah, I love them. I'll
All of them?
rewatch them. Yeah, all of them.
All of the Annabelle
La
creations.
Llorona, Annabelle, The Nun. The Nun is my least favorite.
Okay, I heard that one's the scariest
It
though.
was not scary. It's just I think it sucked.
Oh no, is and one of the Annabelles is like the scariest, right?
Allegedly, I remember when the Conjuring movie came out, there was like news headlines saying that like people were fainting and like
Yeah, I was scared,
convulsing and
so
stuff. But they weren't that bad. I love them. However, I will say I am not afraid of scary movies, but I am afraid of gore. Like anything that has to
oh,
do
I
with like
hate gore. Yeah,
blood, like anything human related. Yeah, I
so
don't like to see those.
you won't watch Final Destination.
I have never seen Final Destination and I should never watch that because I what's the term for like I guess maybe like overthinking, but like in hypochondriac terms, but for like real life situations. What would you call that? I don't know if there's a
Just
word for that.
overthinking.
Yeah, I guess just overthinking. But if I was to watch those, I would be thinking that my final destination is coming up anytime soon. So
Yeah,
it's
like a
probably best I
piano's
don't
gonna
see
a
it.
piano's gonna drop on your head type of
Yeah.
situation.
Oh no,
Mhm.
I literally live my life already like that. So it's a good thing I have never seen that. Because sometimes I'll just be walking. I'm like, what if I like fall and I die?
That's valid. So not like the Saw movies.
I've never seen them, but I think there was one. I don't know if it's the scary movie ones. Those were stupid. I didn't like them
The
personally. Not
Scary
to
Movie's
like,
the comedy.
yeah,
Yeah. You didn't like the Scary
I didn't
Movies?
like them. I thought they were kind of dumb. Maybe I'd have to rewatch them. I watched them when I was little, so.
I was gonna say I don't think I could ever rewatch them because I feel like they might be really cringy now.
Mm,
But like I
that,
did enjoy them back in the day because I hated scary movies, real scary movies. So I was
so
like,
that
this
was
is
like
good.
that was the closest you could ever get to it.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
did you see that they did a new one? Did you watch that one? Uh,
Now, I mean, this is getting into like a different topic, but my type of scary movie is the psychological thrillers.
I love those too. Those are the best.
Like Get Out is my favorite movie.
Oh
My favorite
man,
horror movie in general.
anything Jordan Peele is great. I
Yeah, I
still
still
can't believe
haven't
you
seen
haven't seen
Us.
Us.
Still haven't seen Us.
You have to watch it. It's really
I
good.
know. Now that I don't live there, I can.
Yeah, because it was based in Santa Cruz, so I understand that. Because
Yeah, no. There
I
was
could
no way.
I could totally see myself being scared if I lived there, but it's a really cool movie. I don't know. I just like movies that I don't see the ending coming. Like
Yeah, Hereditary.
I have actually never seen that one, so I
I
should
I
write it
think
down.
Hereditary is one of that movie scared me so much, but also like was really good. Both
Mm,
like cinematically it was good. The jump scares were genuinely like they got me. Jump scares get me. I'm a very
mm,
easily like someone could pop up. I get scared very easily. Um
really
oh yeah. My family loves it because they'll like just randomly pop out of a corner and
scary.
I'll get scared. Yeah. I got scared in Multiverse of Madness
When?
when when Wanda spoiler
In case you
spoiler.
haven't seen it.
If you haven't seen it, what are you doing? But
Yeah, it's really good.
when Wanda comes out and snaps Professor X's neck.
Oh, that was so cool. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, but I jumped.
You're
I
like, "Oh."
yeah, that got me. I was like, ah.
I love jump scares though, because I know they're coming.
Oh yeah,
I
you
spend
know
a
they're
lot of
coming.
yeah, I know they're coming, and so like I'm like, okay, they're gonna jump scare us right now. They're gonna jump scare us, and then I don't end up getting scared. However, if the music's really loud, I'll jump, but only because it's loud, not because it's like scary.
Mhm.
But for the most part, like I like jump scares if they can actually get me. If they don't get me, it's laughable to me because I'm like, oh, most everyone here jumped, and that's what they were supposed to do. So I'm like, okay, you guys got us.
You would have a lot of fun watching a scary movie with me
Okay, we've got to watch a scary movie one day.
because I get scared.
We can
I'm
watch Us.
I sit like this. Like I will sit the entire movie just covering my eyes because I'm terrified.
It's so funny. Do you want to know what my favorite comedy movie is?
Yes.
The It movies.
The new ones?
Yeah,
Okay, that's okay. That's
the
okay.
old one, I tried to rewatch it, and I think just because like how far we've gotten with CGI, I could not sit through like the original It movies. It
Hmm.
was laughable. It just didn't make like the way that the balloon came in. It just literally was looked so funny to me. But the new It movies were just awesome. The kids were so funny. I
So
love
good.
comedic relief. Like anything with comedic relief in like serious situations, love it. So,
Those movies, I so I was again, I'm a scaredy cat. Like that's just
mhm.
who I am. And the original It movie I watched with my cousins at like one of their houses and I watched it from the kitchen because I didn't want to sit in the living room because I was too scared.
Did you think it was going to come get you?
So I was scared of clowns.
Really?
And I don't know if you know about this, but the Bay Area had this like clown thing happening where there were killer clowns on the loose when I was like I think 17.
We did
So
too.
2017. Yeah, so the whole clown thing, so I did not go outside. Um but then when the new It movies came out, I was like, "All right, let's conquer this fear. Let's go watch it." And so I went, watched the first It movie. There was 4 people total in the theater, me and my friend, and then 2 people behind us, and that was it.
Oh, no.
So the theater was empty, and I let the people know behind me. I was like, "I will probably scream." Like, just letting you know ahead of time, and I did. But the scene in the bathroom where Beverly, the blood's everywhere, and she turns around
Oh,
and he's just there, the
yes.
way that scene haunted me for months.
Every time you take a shower, you're like, "It's gonna be
I could
here."
not close my eyes in a shower. The way I would shower, like, I found a way that I didn't have to close my eyes, because the moment I closed my eyes, I got scared.
You're like
Um,
showering with your eyes wide open.
I would first wash my face, and then I would turn around so that the water was behind me, and then I would do everything else because I could not. I couldn't close my eyes,
That's
and
so
then
funny.
when I would go to sleep, all that was in my head was Pennywise. But they were
That's
very
funny.
funny. Like, they were very, very good movies. I could go back and rewatch both of the It movies. I could rewatch it, which is a lot for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, those are really good. The It didn't scare me. The only thing that would close my eyes for was for the blood. Every time there's blood on the screen, I'm like trying not to see it.
Yeah, like, that bathroom scene, really, there's just a combination of, like, what she was going through plus the
Hmm.
blood, and then he just showed up.
Hmm.
I was like, "Why?" That scene haunts me to this day.
um Movies that do scare me uh was Squid Games. Oh, it wasn't a movie, it was a TV show. But Squid Games was scary. I felt so connected to the people and they were dying. And then the way that they were being killed off, oh, so scary.
Crystal really just told me, "Nothing scares me," but Squid Games did.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, like nothing that's scary, like ghost related or like spooky scares me, but anything that's like human, like the fact that there's a possibility that we could have that in real life. You know what I mean?
They
Like
had a choice,
I know, but it's like they were in debt, so they didn't really have a
but they had a
choice.
choice,
But they didn't really.
but they had a choice.
At the end of the day, they did, but like they were desperate enough to like have to go in there. They didn't know they were gonna get killed off.
Yeah, no, and their stories, like, the fact that we saw their outside life, it was really sad.
Major like turn of events though for the last episode.
Oh, yeah. I
Did you
didn't
see?
like him from the start.
Well, actually, I did. The old
Mm-mm.
man.
Oh,
I
no,
like
no,
the
not
old
the old
man.
man. Not the main character, but the friend.
Oh yeah, I hated him
Yeah,
like
I
from
didn't
the
like him from the start.
beginning.
Mhm.
Um, and did you see that there's gonna be a second Squid Games? I don't know how I feel about that because I felt so invested with the first cast that like if they do a second cast that's completely different, I don't think I'd want to watch it.
I like the first one.
Yeah, I feel like there's some things they really like shouldn't recreate. But I mean, I'm pretty sure if they come out with it and everyone says it's really good, I'll watch it.
Oh,
But
yeah, definitely will still watch it.
yeah, but I wish they would have just kind of like kept it there. But yeah, other than that, nothing else scares me.
Okay, so what about real life? Like, I'm talking, do you believe in ghosts? Are you scared?
Okay, I'm kind of iffy. I'm like I question everything. Like I can believe things, but I'll still have questions. So I do believe ghosts are real, that they do exist. But part of me has never, since I've never experienced it, part of me still questions it. Like if it's actually real. But like if anyone else tells me a story, I'll believe them. But then I need to see it to believe it. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone, but it's just like I just have questions. I don't know. What about you? Do you believe in ghosts?
I don't like using the term ghosts.
What do you call them? Spirits?
I would like to call them spirits. Okay, so I think this goes into the religion thing, right?
Yes.
Growing up Muslim, the way that we're taught, heaven, hell,
Mm-hmm.
and all, but the thing is, in Islam, you don't just automatically go to heaven or hell when you die. I'm probably wrong. If you want to know more, please do your own research. But what I was like told is basically your soul is kind of roaming the earth
Mm-hmm.
until the day of judgment.
Would that be kind of like purgatory? Like in between heaven and hell? I don't know if that is like a more Christian
I
Catholicism
think
belief.
so. I
Okay.
don't think we have a special word for it. It's just
Okay.
like you die and you're buried, and
Mm-hmm.
then you're waiting until the day of judgment.
What would be the day of judgment? You know?
there's like this whole thing about like what's gonna happen on the day of judgment. It's like when the world ends, basically, type of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, but you like there's no automatically you're in heaven, you're in hell.
Okay.
And so because of that, I grew up knowing that like there's probably just spirits roaming around the
Mm.
planet. Like who
Mhm.
knows where they are? And the other thing was in reference to one of my favorite shows of all time.
I've been waiting for this one.
I have been waiting. In Miss Marvel, which it's interesting because of the way they did it, but they talk about jinns,
Mhm.
and jinns are what we know as evil spirits,
Mm.
but not necessarily evil. They just were never good. At least that's what we were taught. We were taught that if you do something wrong, the jinn's gonna come and get you, type of thing.
Mm.
But then she's a jinn, so you know what? Jinns can come and get me. That's fine. Um, but that so with all of that, growing up with all of that, I was like, okay, so this is how ghosts work. But then also similar to you, I also question a lot of things. I believe it, but also I don't know because I've never seen it.
Yeah. It's like a you got to see it to believe it type of
Mhm.
thing. Yeah. That's actually really interesting because it's similar in what we grew up knowing. Um, like for example, you said like the heaven and hell thing. But there's like we call it purgatory, and it's just basically like the in between, but it's not necessarily on earth. It's supposed to be like this other, just I don't know,
In
another
between
realm
area.
between. Yeah. Again, like Nyla said, if I'm completely wrong, don't come for me. I don't know a lot. I don't
We
remember
don't know. No
anything.
worries. Please
So
do your own research. This is just what we grew up with.
yeah. And so we call like the evil spirits demons.
Mhm.
But also I think it's because like Catholicism and Christianity are so like within society that like everyone just kind of knows it, like the demons are like the scary ghosts that are like evil, and then you
Mhm.
have like the regular ghosts which are just spirits that are like roaming because they were stuck. Um and they have like unfinished business or something, and that's why they're here, which again I have so many questions about that. Like why are they stuck? Like did they never like accomplish their goal that they had, or like what's going on here?
Doesn't everyone technically have unfinished business? Like, do people
Yeah.
die fully, completing their business?
Yeah, so I don't know, I have like a bunch of questions, but that's just kind of, I guess, the religious way of looking at it. Now I did grow up Catholic, and I know that in the Catholic Church they're very big on spirits and ghosts. Like in fact, a lot of the scary movies you will see have a lot of like Catholic um churches in them. I mean, the Conjuring movies, literally the priest is a Catholic priest, the nun is in a Catholic church. Like it's because of like the whole Gothic style architecture is just very like scary, and
Yeah.
so
Oh
they
yeah,
love
but
to
it's
use it.
beautiful.
Yeah, it is very beautiful. um Growing up within the Catholic Church, I'm not gonna lie, the statues do scare me. So I do understand why they do use it. Like there is a scary aspect to it, but at the end of the day, it is still very beautiful. Like I love going to see the churches and stuff, and they are very like mesmerizing. But there are some elements of it that are scary, and so I understand why they use it.
It's very
Uh,
dark.
yeah. Yeah, it's very like dark, mysterious, and I mean the statues themselves add to the whole like scary,
Mhm.
feel to it. So because I did grow up in the Catholic Church and like being raised Catholic, I do very much so believe in spirits. But again, I have questions. So,
You mentioned like you have to see it to believe it, but also I was thinking about how the phrase innocent till proven guilty,
uh-huh.
it's like ghosts can be real until we like debunk it because there are so many stories and so many, there's people on the internet out there who are going and trying to find ghosts.
Yes. Like Sam Colby.
Yeah, I was also thinking about Shane and Ryan, BuzzFeed
Yeah.
Unsolved. Yeah.
I actually, you know what? I've never seen BuzzFeed Unsolved.
I feel like you would enjoy that.
I've known of them, but I've never seen it. I should
I
probably
feel like
like
you would
get
really
into
enjoy
that.
it. It is fun.
I'm gonna look them up. But
But
yeah,
yeah, Sam and
the
Colby.
yeah, Sam and Colby. I will say, however, I liked their earlier videos more than their now videos. I feel like it was just a lot more like, I don't
Oh,
know.
I don't know their now
It
videos.
felt different.
I can confidently say I don't know what they're doing right now.
They do have they nowadays they're catching more activity. but they're using equipment like to catch this activity. And honestly, I kind of question like the equipment that they use. How do you
I
feel about that?
Dude, the one equipment that I'm super into in the sense that I wish I could do it because first of all, yeah, I'm scared. Yeah, the headphones connected to the radio
Yeah,
and the blind, and then they ask questions and they answer. I
that
want to
one's
do
super
that so
cool.
badly.
Yeah, see, ones like those, I do like them. I think they're cool. But like, there's the one with like the control and like the lights up. I don't know what it's called. EMF reader, I think.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
Those ones,
don't believe those.
yeah, I like question those because I mean, easily anything could just kind of trigger it. So I don't believe those, but I think once they start getting into the thing where like they do use the headset thing, I don't know what it's called, but like
With
that
the radio, yeah.
seems really cool. Like I feel like being able to contact the other side would be cool, but I'm also very scared and I don't want to do it.
My thing is, I don't want to say anything mean about Sam and Colby, but obviously it's a video.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are some things that they have to react, right?
Yes.
They have to play it up a little bit. The music, all that, like the editing style, they play it up,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so like I just want to do it myself. I just want to sit there and see how accurate that headphone thing is. Like, am I
Yeah.
really taught like is there really answers coming back?
Yeah, that's what like I want to know too. Like I got to be there myself to see it cuz I mean watching it as an outsider, like sometimes I'll see them overreact a little to something. I'm like, I feel like you guys are kind of overdoing this one. But then there's like certain things in there I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool, but if I was there, I would believe it more. Like I would want to experience it to just like believe it. Like for example, when someone says like, "Oh, I felt like a touch on my shoulder," I always question it because there's times where like I'm sitting down or something and like I don't know, I just like twitch or my
Yeah.
hair like
I'll feel
randomly
something.
touches. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
like, I could easily debunk things. This is why I question a lot of like ghost activity because if something happens, I try to debunk it immediately. I don't know if it's to like not scare myself, right? But like I'll just easily be, oh, it's the foundation settling. That's my go-to.
My house moves a lot. Like I so when things move and people are like, "Oh my God, that did you hear that?" I'm like, just sit in my house for like 10 seconds, you'll think this thing is haunted. I've I've lived here for 22 years. I would hope that if it was haunted, something would have said something by now.
Yeah, you would
Like,
think.
please. My Google Home literally yesterday just went off by
Went off.
itself. Yeah. And it does that
Mm.
occasionally. But am I like terrified? Because also they say, I don't know how accurate it is, but it's like if you're scared, it's gonna find you.
Oh yeah, for sure. You
Yes.
attract it.
You attract what you fear. Isn't that
Hmm.
is that the saying?
Yeah, it's basically the law of attraction. Like if you think something long enough, like it'll start happening.
Yeah.
Um, like if you hear one little noise and you're like, oh my God, is it something? And then you hear another noise and you're like, oh my God, that's something. And then you just kind of like spook yourself out. So I feel like if you kind of give a reason to something, you're less likely to get scared.
Yeah. Like I said, I've lived here for 22 years. If something were to happen, it would have
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah. Like one time when I was younger, I used to be a little bit more scared of like
Oh,
scary stuff. And so
oh,
I,
really? Really,
yeah,
Crystal?
yeah,
You used to be scared?
not anymore.
Oh, okay.
um, when I was younger, I remember I was like laying in my bed. I don't know what I had seen, but I saw something that I was like scared of. And I was laying down and I felt something touch me. But I swear to you, okay, because you know that like state of sleep where you're like still awake, but you're like kind of gone, but yeah, you're kind of
Yeah.
aware of things.
You're
Yeah.
aware of your surroundings, but you're definitely like mentally down.
Yeah. And so I was like falling asleep and I felt something touch my back. And I swear I was sleeping like this. But when I jumped, I like moved my hands and I was thinking to myself, I was like, did someone touch me? But I'm pretty sure it was myself. So
Hmm.
I already got scared. And then I tried to go back to sleep, but I was terrified. And I like opened my eye a little bit to see if there was any ghost or spirit there. And I saw a man standing there and I was like, no, no. And I
You
covered my
close your eyes
face.
more. You're like, I'm
Yeah.
not, I can't see, I can't see, I
I
can't see.
was like, no. But then it
Get
was like,
under the
let me,
covers fully.
I was like, let me see it one more time. So I like slowly started to pull down the covers and I opened my eyes and it was just like a suit jacket that was hanging there. So like, see, I could have like easily just, debunked it. Like it was that, but I scared myself and I was already
Hmm.
scared. So it was extra scary.
Mhm. I feel like when you think about it too much, you start like we were talking about last week, the memory thing, where
Mhm.
your brain, the way it works, you tell yourself something over and over again, and next thing you know, that is what your truth is.
Yeah.
And so I think the same thing goes with ghosts. If you mentally mess with yourself enough and you're like, oh my God, no, something actually happened, then you believed that something happened.
Yeah. Also, I kind of want to get into like our cultures because I feel like it's a little separate from the religion side of it. Although I am Mexican American, so I feel like Catholicism is kind of like really ingrained in the Mexican culture. Um, and one thing that our parents love to do is scare us so that we behave. And
Mm.
there's certain like mythical creatures that they'll bring up, like they'll say like, "Oh, el cucuy is gonna get you," or "La Llorona is gonna come after you."
Bro, La Llorona, I'm not even I'm not Hispanic at all, but
She's scary.
I had an aunt, that used to bring up La Llorona because we watched the movie at her house, and
Oh,
she used to bring her up all the time, and I was like, "Oh my God,
I don't want her to come get me.
I'm talking about the like old movie too."
Oh, I don't think I've seen the original one.
Oh yeah, that was rough back then.
I do have a story about that though. Like not for me, not the story didn't happen to me, but it happened to my dad.
Mhm.
And I think it's kind of funny. So he said that when he was younger, he used to go visit his grandparents out in the rancho, which is just like a countryside, but there's like a house and it's like surrounded by fields. Like there's rarely a house next to you, or there's like a couple miles before you see a house. And so this rancho was near a river, and La Llorona is known to hang out
At
where
the
there's
river.
like rivers,
Mhm.
canals, stuff like that. And so he said that one time him and I think his like brothers and sisters were sleeping over at my grandma's, or yeah, no, his grandma's house, sorry. They were sleeping over at his grandma's house and he started to hear weeping, like a crying
No,
sound.
no, 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 no,
And
no.
that when well, he was little, so he got kind of scared and he asked his grandma, he's like, "Grandma, what is that sound?" And she goes like, "Oh, it's just the Llorona." Like all casual. Like it's just so casual for people to bring her up in like
Mhm.
the Mexican culture, but because they're telling us as kids, we're like scared of it. So it's like so ingrained of us, like, oh, don't hang out in bodies of water late at night. But part of me kind of thinks it's a way of them keeping us safe almost. So it's like, when you're older and you're like, oh, we should go hang out by the river. No, what if the Llorona gets us,
Yeah,
sort of
scare
thing.
tactic.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, Also, they like love to bring up the devil, which is one thing that scared me away from religion
Mhm.
because it gave me so much anxiety. Like growing up, my grandma would tell us that the devil was trying to take us over
Just
if
casually.
just casually daredevil.
Yeah, he could come and get me, that's fine.
I'm fine with that.
Oh, yeah, but the
Um,
devil.
yeah, I would get so scared of it because I'd be like, oh no, the devil's trying to take over my body, like sort of thing. So it's just I don't know, these scare tactics, like they work, but
Mhm.
they definitely do scar you as a kid. So like it's something that still sits in the back of my head like on the daily. And I was wondering if you guys have anything like that they bring
I
up
think
to you guys.
I think it has to do with both, like, religion and culture.
Uh-huh.
I've said it before, I'm Fijian, Indian. My grandparents, my great-grandparents were all born in Fiji. And so being in that village lifestyle, they
Mm.
believed in, like, black magic and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and so a lot of, like, the stories I hear had to do with, like, black magic, but a lot of it, had to do with also scare tactics at the end of the day. So there's one that is still scars me to this day. They say not to shower after the sun goes down
Why?
because if your hair is wet at night, then, like, they're gonna that's again, I think it's a scare tactic. I think they just
Uh-huh.
didn't like, when they say your hair's wet at night, you're gonna get sick.
Yes.
So
Uh-huh.
for us, instead of saying they're gonna get sick, they're like, "You're gonna get possessed." The djinn
That's
is
so
gonna come and
funny.
possess you,
Oh
and so
my
I couldn't
god.
shower. Or, like, same thing with, you can't go outside with your hair open. It was all scare tactics.
Oh.
I don't know for
Yeah.
what. I don't know what they were trying to scare us from, but, like, they
Keep
were
us
like
in check.
yeah, they were like, if you don't tie your hair when you go outside, like, they're gonna you're gonna get possessed." That was the best thing. That was the main thing. Ours wasn't the devil, it was you're gonna get possessed.
Possessed. You know what's funny though? My mom used to tell me something similar that if I took a shower late at night and I went to sleep, that I was gonna go blind.
You were gonna go blind?
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna go to sleep with my hair wet.
Yeah, it's just like, again, scare tactics, right? Yeah, those were like two of the big ones I remember growing up. And it was
Uh-huh.
just, oh, and then ours wasn't the devil, but ours was hell. Because of the
Uh,
religion, we were terrified of going to hell. I went to Sunday school for a while, right? Because
uh-huh.
as a Muslim kid, every kid goes to Sunday school. And so I went to Sunday school and I used to hate it because every time I went to Sunday school, I got yelled at for something. My hair was showing,
Mm.
because we have to wear the like scarf and the full like dressing, and like it was like your hair showing, your ankles showing, your wrist
Uh,
is showing. And I was like, but when we went to Sunday school, instead of teaching us about religion, instead of teaching us like we did read the like Quran and stuff, but when they were teaching us about the culture, it was more so like, if you paint your nails, when you go to hell, they're gonna rip out every single fingernail.
oh
And like it
no.
was things like that where they would be like, snakes are gonna come and like bite every like they would scare us in that way to follow religion.
Honestly, our we have confirmation and communism. No, communism. Cut the cameras. I might not be far off though.
Communion.
Look at you. You know more than me.
Yeah, fun fact, I grew up a lot of Hispanic people.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, see, again, this is why I love having to do a podcast because where my brain drops off, Nyla picks
Communism.
it up.
Communism.
Okay. Anyways, we did not have communism in the Catholic Church, but I forgot what I was talking about now. Oh yeah, we have those classes, and we don't. They don't really teach us scare tactics in there. It's more so like I think because you're already going there, they're like fine with it. But your parents, your grandparents will do those scare tactics, so you want to go do it. Because most of the time,
Mm,
no one really wants to be there. Like every
yeah.
kid I went with to those classes, we would literally just like we'd hate it. We didn't want to be there, but because we were obviously like forced to go, we were like, okay, fine, whatever.
Mhm.
Um, but back to the whole like black magic thing in
Yeah.
Mexico, we like believe a lot in brujeria, which is witchcraft.
Magic. Yeah.
And it's funny because every time I'm in Mexico, I get so scared because I believe that if I'm in Mexico, anyone can put a spell on me.
Mhm.
As soon as I cross over to the US, I'm like, I'm fine, I'm untouchable. You guys can't get me. But
I
as
got I got boundaries.
yeah, but as soon as I'm in Mexico, I believe everything. And also like everyone's gonna tell you stories about, oh, this person's cursed, this person's under a love spell, and like all these different things. So you just hear them, which I love hearing them, honestly. I find those stories so interesting, but it scares me that there's a possibility that it could happen to me.
Mm.
But yeah, I think there's some like aspects that I do like because I did grow up with them, and even though they did scare me, they're kind of cool. They're like cool ideas or theories, I guess, myths,
Well,
and I like
like
to hear them.
it's part of our culture.
Yeah,
And I think it's a cool part of our culture. Whenever I go back to Fiji, every house you go to, they just love to sit there and talk about, oh yeah, there was a whole like session that happened right in this house, right where you're sitting. There was a session where there was someone who was possessed, and they'll like start talking about all these stories and like, oh, the house is cursed because someone died here. And like they love telling ghost stories. And it's like
yeah,
their favorite thing to do. And I love sitting there and listening. But when you're in Fiji,
it's
it's not
scary.
fun. I will, if we're in America, tell me all the stories. Tell
Yeah,
me every single story you have. But when we're back there, can we do it in the morning? Can we not talk
yeah,
about it at night? Because I have to walk places and I don't want to walk places.
yeah. The funniest part though is us really thinking that the ghost is gonna be like, oh, there's a border here, I can't cross it.
We feel so safe in white people America, man.
Yeah, we're brainwashed over here. Um,
I was gonna say we feel safe from ghosts, but we don't feel safe from other things.
mm-mm.
We have other worries here. So like
Yeah,
back there, our worries become the ghosts.
yeah. Um, but yeah, I also really like listening to them. I remember there's this one story that someone told us, and I don't know how true it is because I feel like a lot of Mexican people love to tell a different story than what actually happened. I don't
They
know
have
if
their
it's
own
like,
narrative.
yeah, to like embellish it. So like I had this aunt who passed away a couple of years ago, and she was sick, but people couldn't really figure out what she had, so people started coming up with stories. And one of the stories was that somebody put a spell on her because they were jealous of her or something. And so slowly this magic that was in her was starting to like, like deteriorate her or something, because she was like, I would say like maybe she had some sort of like, maybe she had cancer or something, but they couldn't like pinpoint or something, because she was losing a lot of weight.
Mhm.
And people were saying that it was because she was like under a spell, like someone did brujeria on her. And
Mhm.
then they even went as far as to like say that there was a time when like a mirror fell in her house and you could hear screams coming out of the mirror. And I was like, what? Like, is this true? But
Like, there were people trapped inside the mirror or something?
yeah, like
Like
spirits.
spirits?
Yeah, just coming down. I'm like, that is terrifying.
I feel like I've
It's
seen that happen in a movie.
yeah. So that's why like part of me wonders if like some of these things are real, or if people just like to tell their own story, make it more interesting.
Yeah,
So I don't know.
the medical thing is really interesting about it, right? Because they, like,
Yeah.
couldn't find in any like, they couldn't find anything specifically,
Yeah.
and so they had to put it on something.
Yeah. And they're like, it's because of this. I
Mhm.
remember there's also another aunt that passed away, but they said that she was also put under a spell. And that the reason they knew this was because there was an owl outside of their house the entire time that she was sick and in the hospital. And as soon as she passed away, the owl left.
Mhm.
And so they started telling that story that, oh, she passed away because she was under a spell. And I'm like, is it because she was under a spell, or is it because she was actually sick? Like, she was in the hospital. They brought her to the US to like
Try
get
and figure
help.
out something.
And so I don't know. It's like there's a possibility that it could be true. There's a possibility that it can't. But now I'm scared. These are like the type of stories you hear when you go over there, and that's why I get scared. I'm like,
Mhm.
oh no, I hope nobody like puts a
Puts a
spell on
curse on
me. I'll put a spell on you.
Melanie. Nice. Yeah, there's like the black magic stuff, even for us, when I hear the ones where like they say if you have plants in your like front yard
Hmm.
and all of a sudden they start dying.
Oh,
It's like someone put a spell on you or like around you and that's why they're dying.
yeah.
And it's like little things like that. And I'm like, that's suspicious.
That's weird.
That's weird.
I don't want plants. Yeah, that's like sometimes. Oh, like you've heard of the portal thing, right? If there's two mirrors like in front
Hmm.
of each other, it's like a portal. Well, at our rancho in Mexico, we literally have two mirrors facing each other, and so sometimes I'll be like doing my hair in there or something, and I'm like, yeah, I'm still untouchable. Like even though there's a portal right here, or I'll look in both mirrors, I'm like trying to get me. But imagine something
You're
happens.
taunting them.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't do that anymore.
You're
And
taunting the portal.
and I think that ranch is haunted. I'm not gonna lie. So I really shouldn't be doing that.
But you're no, again, you attract what you fear. So
Hmm.
if you go in being like, come and get me, they're not gonna come and get you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Got to show them you're tough, or
Well,
maybe not. They
you're
might
not
still
scared
come
of
after you.
anything.
Yeah, not scared of
So
nothing. No, I'm scared of like getting kidnapped. I'm scared of like other things. I'm scared. I have a fear of everything except for the common fears. Like, I'm not afraid of heights. I'm not afraid of clowns. I'm not afraid of like scary movies or things like that. But everything else,
tell
I'm
me.
terrified.
No, I'm scared of everything. Just everything.
Everything,
Yeah.
everything included. I'm scared
Oh
of
my
you.
god. You know, I'm not scared of you.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Maybe the witch behind you has been staring at me this whole time, and I'm like,
She's got her eyes on you. Did you see my video from today? The doll?
I did watch your video today. What did I
You didn't
miss?
see the doll?
Oh, the swinging doll. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you afraid of dolls?
Kind of, but not like I didn't like
That's good.
Chucky,
Oh, I didn't like Chucky either. It wasn't.
but now I think I'm less scared. I used to be scared of dolls, and now I'm less
Yeah.
scared. Same thing with clowns. Like those fears I used to have and I don't have anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with heights. I'm okay with the dark. My house is
Uh-huh.
completely pitch black at night. Like we don't have
Really?
any lights on. Yeah. My dad's very energy conserving, so we don't have any lights on. So I'm not
Okay.
scared of the dark.
Mm. You're used to it,
Um
so.
I'm scared of like spiders. I have the whole fear. What is it called again?
Arachnophobia?
I have arachnophobia and then what is it? Trypophobia.
Trypophobia?
Trypophobia. I have that one. I'm not really the thing is the ghost thing and, like, all of those, I'm not scared of them on a regular basis,
Mhm.
but, like, when I watch a scary movie,
It's scary.
yeah, I'm the person who's like, "No, no, no," like, the whole time. I get scared easily.
Yeah. I get that though, like, I mean, just on a day-to-day basis, it's not terrifying, but because they do have jump scares and then the loud music that they play too is it's scary. Oh, also, I was gonna ask you, I don't know if this is just at our movie theater, but it's pretty I always think it's cool, especially if you're gonna go see a scary movie. But they have a sound like a surround system.
Mhm.
And right before the movie's gonna play, the surround system goes all around you, like that. And so it's really cool right before a scary movie, but it does it like for every movie. I just wondering if that was our movie theater.
I have never had that happen. But speaking of being scared,
Mhm.
I used to be scared of trick or treating when I was a kid
What? Why?
because I used to be scared of people in masks.
Oh, you know what? That that makes sense. They were scary though.
I
I
used to
loved
be so
trick or
scared,
treating.
but I did go every
Okay,
year.
good, good.
Yeah.
At least you didn't miss out. You
No,
were
no,
like
no.
trick or treat with your eyes closed.
My mom, because my mom's a little ruthless in that sense, where she was like, "Go," and I'm like, "Okay, okay, I'm going." But I was scared. I was terrified. But then I got candy, so I wasn't as scared anymore. But
Rightfully so.
trick or treating, how was your experience growing up?
Oh my gosh, I love trick or treating. I was actually curious to see if you were able to like fully experience trick or treating because I know it's like kind of slowly starting to die out nowadays. At least where I live, like they're doing trunk or treats more than they are doing actual trick or treating.
What is it?
Trunk or treats,
What's
trunk or
that?
treats. It's where you like everyone parks their car in like a little like big parking lot and they're handing like candy out to the kids instead of them going out and like trick or treating.
I
You guys don't
never
have
heard
that
of
there?
that. No.
Really? Yeah, they're doing that now because I mean, rightfully so, because the world is scary and I feel like it's scarier now. Maybe because we have, you know, more like access to media 24/7 that we're hearing all these scary stories. And so like parents are like trying to be a little bit more protective. But it's kind of sad to me because like kids aren't getting the experience that we had growing up, going house to house, like knocking on the door or just grabbing candy from a bowl that said please take one but you took like 10 of them. I'm just kidding, I
Never.
never did that. I'm just kidding, no, I didn't, I swear.
I would only take one.
I would only take one too, but I would think about it. I'd be like, should I take an extra one? They won't
Mhm.
know.
I would
I
think
think
about it all the time.
Yeah, I think honestly there was one house one time that had one of those bowls, but they were probably watching us or something because I swear I heard someone say only take one. And I was like, I wasn't taking
Yeah,
more, but we were like grabbing them, so they were like, make sure you only grab one. I was like,
because some people didn't want to open the door over and over again.
yeah,
Yeah.
which
So
makes
they would be in the
sense.
house, but it would just be sitting outside. But like you were saying, kids nowadays, I really do feel bad because the experience of like all the kids in the neighborhood, and these are people that you probably, at least for me, these were
Uh
people
huh.
I went to school with a lot of the time, or
Yeah.
like kids that I knew. And so like we would all kind of go together and like the parents would hang out and like we would go trick or treating together. And that kind of made it a really fun experience because I wasn't alone.
Yeah.
And, like, being alone wasn't as again, I was scared, and my mom would be like, "Go," and I'm like, "I'm scared." But, like, being with other people, I was less scared.
Mm.
And so that experience of, like, going with my neighbors and, like, us going to house in the entire neighborhood, it was always, like it was a tradition, it was every year.
Yeah. I always used to get lucky because growing up, we would come back and forth from California to Arizona. And half of the year we'd spend it over here. And usually that was during the time of Halloween,
Mm.
which was really cool because we lived in these apartment complexes that were right next to rich people houses. So we used to go trick or treating there because they would give out the good candy. And one thing that I really loved, I don't know how it always happened, but in Monterey, it would always be gloomy on Halloween night. And so it
Yes.
was like extra cool, like going
That's,
out
sorry,
treating.
don't wanna interrupt you,
No, go
but,
ahead.
that's the entire Bay Area.
Oh, okay. So it gets like
It gets extra gloomy Halloween
foggy.
night,
Yeah.
but I mean, Monterey's probably cold, but for us in the Bay Area, it doesn't get cold. It just is
Mhm.
gloomy. which is the best part
Mm.
because you can still wear your costumes and you're not like freezing.
Yeah, wearing a jacket over your princess dress. Yeah, I love that about Halloween though. It was really cool to like be able to experience that. And also, I remember there was this one house that gave us full-size candy bars. I will forever remember that house. They were the best.
That's some good rich neighborhoods.
Hmm. And also, I loved the houses that would go all out and they would like
The
decorate.
decorations. Yeah,
Hmm.
those are the houses you always want to go to.
Yep. And they have like strobe lights, and there's like someone crawling on the floor, and they're like, "Rah," and you're like, ah, and then you walk your way to get the candy.
Or there's someone like sitting on the porch and that you think it's a statue, but it's not a statue.
Yes, I remember there was like a scarecrow guy, and he was sitting there with a bowl of candy, and we went to like go and grab it, and as soon as you grab it, he's like, "Rah," and we're like,
Yeah.
"Ah, ah, give me the candy!"
I want
Runs
candy.
away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, like I think another reason why it's slowly starting to die out is because there were like a lot of news stories of people lacing the candy with like drugs or certain things. And so now it's just safer, I guess, to like go to arrange trick or treats.
Hmm.
Um, but I remember like getting home. Oh, also, we would always trick or treat with pillowcases because of how much candy we would get. And I remember like getting back home, and my mom would always make us dump out all our candy so she could inspect all of them. Once
Hmm.
she was done inspecting, we would go and do trades. Like, here, I'll give you a Butterfinger for your Kit Kat.
Right, because you four of you.
Hmm.
So that must have been really fun.
Yeah. And we'd always like switch off. And one candy I used to love back then was crunch candies, like the
I
little minis.
love Crunch
Get out of my head. Especially the minis. I don't know what it is about the minis, but they're
because
so good.
the mini ones, it's thicker chocolate. I feel like that's
Mm.
the reason it's so much better.
Yeah, that
Because the
makes
long
sense.
one's like so thin.
Yeah.
I love the minis. They were my favorite.
Yeah.
That one, and I really liked dark chocolate, or I guess that's more of a recent thing, but dark chocolate Milky Ways.
Oh, I've never had those.
I really like dark chocolate Milky Ways.
I'll have to try them.
Yeah.
Uh, Other than Crunch, I think my next candy was Kit Kats. And then for a second, I had a huge obsession with Butterfingers. No one's gonna lay a
It's a
finger on my
phase though,
Butterfinger.
right?
Yeah, they like you kind of switch
I
them
had a
out.
phase. I had a phase for Butterfingers.
You
But
did too?
yeah.
Yeah.
But it
Okay.
was just like 1 or 2 years. It wasn't very long.
Same. I
Yeah.
think you can only take them for so long, especially if you eat them a lot. It
Yeah.
can kind of get too much.
Yeah. So in my house, since it's just me, right,
Mm-hmm.
I would bring home the candy and my parents would do the same thing. They would inspect it all and then we
Mm-hmm.
would put it in a bowl. And so all three of us
You have
could
to
like
share
go
it.
and yeah, I would have to share with my parents. And I could only have like one or two a day. They monitor. They're like, don't have too many, but
Watching you.
I would go and sneak it,
Sneak
because I
some more.
wanted, yeah, I wanted candy. But my dad's favorite candy is Snickers. And so all
Mm.
the Snickers would be gone, which would make me sad because I like the Snickers.
Yeah, those are really good. Imagine like they're like, oh, you can only get one, but then late at night they're all watching movies, eating your candy bowl.
They honestly could be like, I wouldn't know.
You were being such a good kid. They're like, we're gonna get her behind her back.
Yeah. And I mean, but the candy would last in my house for a while since it was shared between like the three of us.
Yeah, also we would get like so much candy that we wouldn't even finish it.
Hmm.
But then we do it again. We'd go get more candy and then we still wouldn't finish it. And we'd have to like take the rest of our candy over to Mexico, and my cousins would go crazy for it because they don't trick or treat in Mexico.
Oh, right.
Although some like nowadays they're starting to do it a little bit more. I don't know if it's like something they want to like start doing for their kids, but like growing up, my cousins would never do it. And then now my nieces are starting to do it because some
Hmm.
houses do hand out candy. Do they trick or treat in Fiji? Like, is that common or no?
So Halloween's not really a thing technically, right?
I
Culturally,
was gonna ask about that. I was gonna ask if it was something that's like just in the US or
just
if
in the
like
US, yeah.
okay.
They don't dress up or anything because it's like, again, it's the Devil's Day, right? So it's
Yeah.
like, again, they would rather just sit there and tell their ghost stories and do their black magic. They don't want none of this. And also they don't have a lot of chocolate. All the chocolate that they get is
Oh.
from Australia, right? So they
Uh-huh.
only have like Australian brands or New Zealand brands of chocolate. They don't have like our chocolate. So a big thing for us is when
Mm.
we go back to Fiji, we have to take American
Candy.
candy. Yeah. Um, but yeah, so they don't trick or treat or anything back there. It's just an
Mm.
American thing. But my mom was like, we grew up in a very like, it's America. Go have fun.
Yeah.
Um, but I only trick-or-treated in my neighborhood until I was about 10 because I have a little cousin, and they're about 9 years younger than me,
Mhm.
and so I would go trick-or-treating with her.
Mm.
And so, like, she would be Tinkerbell, and I would be, like, not in a car, and I wasn't allowed to have a bag. I would just go with her.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
you would just
I was, like, 10, 11, 12 years old, and they would be like, "Nyla, you can't take a bag. You're too old now." And I'm like, they would tell me like, you can take whatever candy you want out of your cousin's bag, but don't bring your own. And I was like, that's not fair. I want my own candy. I was
Yeah.
mad. I was very mad.
Also, you were still pretty young. I swear we didn't stop trick or treating until like middle school, like
Yeah.
6th or 7th grade.
Well, I was 9 when she was born.
Mhm.
And not the first year or the second year. I think it was around when she was like 3.
Uh-huh.
That's when I started trick-or-treating with her.
Oh, okay.
So I was 12.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah, we
they
were kind of starting to phase out of it.
also, I mean, this is going to be a future pod episode, but my family and diet culture is a big thing. So they didn't want me
Mm.
eating too much candy because I was a chubby child.
Uh, I
Yeah, so
hear
I
you.
couldn't have my own bag of candy, and I was mad. I was so mad. I would eat so much candy out of my cousin's bag because I just really, really wanted candy.
Yeah.
But I would still dress up every year, so that was still fun.
What was your favorite costume you ever did?
Oh my God. Okay. Do you remember the Bethany Moda era of
Do
beauty?
I? Do I? We share the same birthday.
That's so fun.
Hmm.
One of my favorite costumes was I did Dorothy.
Oh, did you do it based off of her
Mhm.
video?
I did the whole thing. I DIY'd it myself. And that was
Oh,
one of
that's
my
so
favorites. Yeah, I
cool.
still have it.
Really?
I still have the physical. I don't have a picture of me in it, which is weird.
Uh-huh.
But I still have the physical costume. I kept it all
Oh,
these
that's so
years because I made
cool.
it.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah.
Like that's really cool. You should show me like later
Yeah,
if you have it there.
I will.
Um
That one was one of my favorite. I was Han Solo last year.
Han Solo, is that from the Star Wars?
I was Han Solo last year. My friend had a Halloween party.
Uh
And every girl was dressed all cute, and I was Han Solo.
it was your mean girl era. You walking in with like
Listen, I had a blaster, which is basically a gun strapped on me, so
oh,
I felt pretty cool,
you were the cool girl in the party. You actually tried. I feel like I've never been to a Halloween party. Um, but I think if I was to go to one, I would try like to do a cool outfit. Like I wouldn't just try to do a random
Basic.
mouse, mouse kitty with a short dress or something.
Hmm. No,
I
I
would,
definitely Han Solo was so fun.
yeah.
But that's the only technically, or I guess college. We
Oh,
went to a lot of college Halloween
the
parties.
parties.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But
You got to experience that though.
I only did 1 year because the year after, remember COVID hit pretty early.
Oh, right.
Oh, 2 years. There were 2 years of Halloween parties that I got to go to.
Mm.
Yeah. That was an era. I've only been to a couple. Oh, last year, even though I was Han Solo, we didn't really have a party because it started raining, and so everyone
Oh,
ended up inside. We just played cards and watched a movie.
those are the best though.
Yeah, it
Those
wasn't
like
that bad. It was pretty fun, and I was Han
mhm.
Solo, so I really didn't care. But yeah, did you have any like specific costumes that you really enjoyed?
No, honestly. Like I remember like growing up, we also used to shop for our costumes at Party City, but now Party Cities are closing down. But no, I only had I had like basic outfits. I
Not
had like
Spirit? Wait, not Spirit Halloween?
Spirit Halloween. Well, I don't know if it's been around for forever, but um I swear I only started noticing them like a couple years ago.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
they've been around my entire
Mm.
life. Yeah.
Yeah, I never like really knew about them until recently,
Hmm.
but we would always do Party City because they were like pretty big with costumes. And I would only do like the basics. I remember we would look through a little catalog and be like, I
Hmm.
want this one, I want this one. And you like circle the potential ones and see which one gets approved.
Hmm.
But yeah, I had like basic costumes. Like I was a cheerleader 1 year. I was an angel 1 year. Like they were like simple ones. I never really had like an all out costume, which I hope maybe one day. One thing I've always wanted to do is like if I ever have my own house or something, I would love to do holiday parties, and Halloween would definitely be one. Like everyone go all out.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But
One
yeah,
day.
other
No,
than
we
that,
not we'll see. One day.
one day.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, other than that, like I never had any memorable costumes that I could think of, honestly, which is kind of sad. I was just there for the trick or treat.
I was a princess one year.
Those are like the go-to basic ones, like the
Yeah.
princess ones. Everyone's a princess.
I really like theme days. And so when we had like theme days in high school, or
Uh-huh.
not even high school, I did an internship one year for high school, and the entire
Uh-huh.
clinic was like, we're doing superhero costumes, but everyone's going to be a different superhero. And so
Mm.
everyone had already picked theirs, and I was a little late because I came in later. And so Batman was already taken. Otherwise, I would have been Batman.
Oh.
So I was Robin, and I made my own costume, and I still have it.
That's so cool.
Yeah, Han Solo
Man.
technically was like I had to just buy a couple things and put it together.
Mhm.
I never bought like a costume except for my princess
Oh,
costume.
okay. But that's even cooler that you would make them though.
I love
Cuz
making costumes.
yeah, and you could keep them too, so.
Yeah. Oh, in high school. Oh my God.
Uh-huh.
In high school, my friend and I went as Cosmo and Wanda.
No way. That's so cool. I love duo costumes. They're so
Yeah, we
fun.
went as Cosmo and Wanda. I spray painted my hair pink.
Oh, no way. Do you have a
Yeah,
picture
it
of that?
didn't last. I might. I'll have to check.
Mhm.
But
I want to see it.
so it was four of us, and we all dressed up, and we decided to go walk around neighborhoods with bags and try and see if anyone would give us candy, and no one gave us candy.
No
We
way.
were all like 16, 17.
Why is there like an age restriction? I swear, if you want to go trick or treating, just give people candy. Like
We
what do
got
you think?
a couple houses, but we really didn't get much candy.
Well, at
And
least you
it
guys tried.
also, yeah, I think that was the era where it started to also die out because a lot of
Mm-hmm.
houses weren't even doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember like the first year that we had to stay back at home for Halloween because we like stopped coming over to California. We got like candy and we were sitting outside waiting for trick or treaters. There was not a single trick or treater in our neighborhood, and it was
Mhm.
so sad. We just had a bag of candy left over,
At
which
least
is
more for you guys.
fun. Yeah.
Do you have any plans for Halloween this year?
Um, yes and no. Like we never really do any like big parties or anything, but I know that we want to do like a cousin get together. It's like around Halloween time, but it's not really going to be Halloween themed.
Mhm.
And then me and my friend Ruby, we love spooky season because we love to tell scary stories. So we do plan to maybe have like a little bonfire and then tell scary stories. What
Oh,
about
that
you?
sounds like a fun time. Um, it's a Monday this year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's a football game the day before. I'll be
Oh,
watching that.
of course.
No, no plans this year. Oh, maybe you know what? Maybe I'll watch Us.
Yes.
Maybe that's
Watch
my plan for
us.
this year to finally watch Us.
You should do that. And
Yeah,
if it's during the week or something and you want someone to watch it with you, I'm down to rewatch it. I
I'm
can
down to
keep you
rewatch it with
company.
you. Rewatch it. I'm down to watch it with you.
Okay, we'll have to figure out how we can watch together and we'll do that. That'll be our
It'll probably be
Halloween
something similar to
celebration.
this.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
right, because FaceTime now does this.
Mhm.
All right. Well, that's pretty much it for our episode number 2, which is crazy to think about that we're already in 2 episodes.
And I mean, while we're recording this, episode 1 hasn't been released yet, so we don't know
Yeah.
how it went, but I hope it went well for all of us.
No, it should. Honestly, Nyla's been doing a great job with the editing.
This one's gonna
So
be fun.
props to her. Yeah, it should be fun because we talked for quite a while.
Yeah, but it's honestly enjoyable. I mean, you talked about it in your video, and
Mhm.
we'll link that video down below because I think, it ties in and it's about teamwork. And, I really appreciate
Mhm.
everything that you're doing, while I
Yeah.
edit. You've been doing a lot with the description and tags and all the YouTube logistic stuff that I don't know as well. And so I
We're
really appreciate how
we're a
much
team.
teamwork makes the dream work, and it's true.
Mhm. We've created a good space. This is what I love. So, yeah, and we also want to thank you guys so much for the love on the first episode or the trailer episode because the first episode hasn't been out, but like you guys are awesome for like listening to it, and I hope you guys enjoy first episode and you guys stay along. Today we did the Halloween episode, but stay tuned for Christmas. We're gonna
We
have
have big plans.
yeah, we're excited for that. So make sure you guys are subscribed down below. Check us out on our socials, Instagram and YouTube. And we will be releasing a new video, or sorry, I guess a new podcast episode. I'm so used to saying video,
It's also a
but
video.
yeah, technically. But every Wednesday, new episode, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And also, I did just want to say we're not going to be on iTunes for a while because iTunes is asking for way too much from us in order to post on there. So
Apple's asking for a lot.
yeah, go figure. But maybe one day we'll be on there, but for now we're going to be on Spotify and on YouTube, and we're going to see about maybe Google Podcasts as well.
And
So
Anchor, right? Anchor itself
oh
also is a
yes,
platform. Yeah.
yeah, we're also on Anchor, which is an app that you can download and you can find our podcast on there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Yay us.
Yes.
Episode
Thank
number
you.
2.
Thank you everyone for listening to us ramble on about Halloween.
Random things.
Halloween.
And we would like to say sorry for the spam. Peace out, Girl Scouts.